Good morning, everyone. A good, a good day for everyone today from MentorMe. So we are an organization that is into career guidance and training programs. We are bringing a series of webinars mainly to help out students. Being a career guidance company, we are bringing these webinars to support students in, understanding their educational roadmap, to know more about careers. There is very less awareness of careers, I would say, in India. Majority of students and even parents, for that matter, know only like maybe 7 to 10 careers. But there is a plethora of career options available, even in India, like around 250 plus careers are available to choose from. And to create that awareness and also to scientifically guide students on picking careers is why we are bringing these webinars. And through these webinars we are focusing mainly on giving you more information, industry information on careers. And also we are doing a series of webinars on entrance exams, because currently a lot of entrance exams are lined up, and a lot of students are confused about these entrance exams or are seeking for more information. And in these webinar series we are also trying to bring some experts who can talk to us about the strategies to prepare for the exam and various other information that students need. I would say please utilize this opportunity to know more, ask questions. So we have with us Mr. Prashant Sugandhi. I will, welcome Prashant sir for this session. So he is a co-founder of e-coaching, and he's, supporting us in giving more information about the CAT exam today. Sir, can you move the slide? I just want to talk a little bit about the webinars. In the MentorMe, series of information that we are bringing, we are mainly focused on guiding students on the career planning, giving you expertise from the industry experts, and also we are trying to let you know what are the courses, colleges, various entrance exams, what's the educational route that you need to take in order to reach your career goals. Basically, our goal is mainly to empower students to make an informed career decision, so that you are making in India, or even any other country, majority of human beings spend 30-40% of their lifetime just working. And when you are spending that amount of time on your career, you really need to choose it more scientifically. You need to be self-aware of your strengths and weaknesses, and choose a career that aligns with your passion as well as aptitude. And that's when the success rate would be higher. Avoid choosing a career based on a peer pressure or any other sort of influences. Always choose what's the right fit for you. And we definitely want to support students in this career journey. So can you move on to the next slide, please? So I want to talk a little bit about our guest today, that is Prashant sir. Prashant sir is a co-founder of e-coaching institute, which is mainly focused on prepping up students for various entrance exams, various aptitude exams, and they've Prashant sir has been in this education industry for over 15 years. He's worked with universities. He's worked with some exclusive coaching institutes, and he's also himself a career counselor. And Prashant sir, before his setting up e-coaching, he's worked in say various sales and marketing roles. He's even held various managerial and leadership roles, and he really brings that extensive knowledge that the students would benefit from. And I'm really thankful to Prashant sir for giving us this time. Prashant sir, I'd like to take over. Please feel free to introduce and take them through more information on the entrance exams.
Sure. Thank you, Shrisha, for a nice introduction. So, a very good morning to all the students out there. So, before I start, I'll just set the agenda for the today's session is so irrespective of whatever target you are, I mean, whatever year you are targeting, whether it is 2024 CAT or 2025, 2026, whatsoever. So, the idea of today's session is the major agenda is why management at the first place, because as Shrisha ma'am was discussing that we want students to be aware about the various careers, right? When we talk about careers, cat is a path to achieve that particular career. When we are talking about going ahead, doing a management degree. But why management degree at first place? Because the common question which comes is, I am from, let's say, a BSc background, or a BTech background, or let's say BE or a BSc. Why I should go ahead and prepare for all these examination? Why management at the first place, right? So that is the first thing which I'll be discussing in the today's session. The second thing is, now when management, the common myth which start coming in, right? If let's say I want to get into, let's say, the top institutes like IIMs, MDI, FMS, so on and so forth, right? It's very tough. Work experience is required. What kind of percentile is required? I don't think I'll be able to make it, because the moment you go to online and when you start searching, all those quoras and all, and you start searching all the answers, the replies from the experts, now from there we start making our own, preconceived notion about getting into these colleges, right? And okay, I'm not disagreeing with the fact that good colleges are must, but that doesn't mean that apart from those top ones there are no other colleges in India, right? So I'll talk about that as well. There is something for everyone as far as management degree or MBA colleges are concerned. And the third thing is, how to prepare. Yes, that is something which is very much needed at this point of time. I am preparing for CAT 2024. So I have, let's say, almost 2 months, 60 days is what I have, whether I'll be able to get the desired percentile or not. And the common thing is whether I'll be able to crack CAT or not. And when I'm saying cracking CAT, it's a subjective question, right? So someone might go ahead and say that 60 percentile is cracking CAT, and someone can say that 99 percentile is also where I'm not cracking CAT, because I was looking for the colleges like IIM Ahmedabad, right? So these are 2 3 things which I'll be discussing, and if time permits, we might go to other non-management examination apart from CAT, where I'm talking about Narsi Munji, Xavier's, and other colleges as such. I'll try to make sure that I'll keep this session as short as possible. We will not stretch this session beyond 25-30 minutes. So if you have any questions, any this thing, you can just mention in the chat box. I'll try to answer those questions, those queries while I am into this presentation. And if I'm not able to answer at that point of time, I'll make sure I'll answer all these questions and queries at the last, right? So the first thing before I start is common mistakes which generally students make, right? The first thing which I have mentioned here is delay in taking decision, right? We depend on too much gyan from the world around us. The first thing which we do is we just start googling the things up, right? Okay, why MBA? Which are the good colleges to get into MBA? What are the kind of percentiles which colleges are looking at? And when I'm talking about results, colleges, placement, we delay, we take a lot of time in making the decision. Okay, let's go for management, or let's start preparing for CAT, right? So the first thing is, when you're talking about results, colleges, placements, at first point of time, the idea is you need to get into a good college, right? And what exactly is a good college? Now this again is a very subjective question. What exactly is a good college? And that's what, when I answer the students, that good college according to me is that at this point of time, let's say whatever background, whatever graduation you are pursuing at this point of time, or you have completed, or the kind of packages which you can expect, the kind of placements which you can expect from that particular degree. For example, if someone who is pursuing BCom or a BBA degree, or let's say BSc for that matter, after BCA, BCom, what kind of packages you can expect? Now, any good college of management which can improve, or which can make sure it will push your packages, or let's say whatever degrees you have, whatever skills you have, so that you can improvise in your career path, you can go into certain leadership roles or management roles. So any management college who is giving you that push, giving you a good ROI, that is the college I think you should go ahead for, right? So if let's say at this point of time, when you go out and search for a job, you might get, let's say, I mean, depending on the cities where you are in, so 20-25,000 is what you expect on an average for a graduate. So any college, let's say, it can take you from, let's say, 25,000 rupees per month, or let's say I'm talking about 3-4 lakh package per year. From 3-4 lakh, if let's say any good college which is taking you, let's say, 10-12 lakhs also, I think it's a good college to get into. I'm not denying the fact you should target the good colleges, but that doesn't mean I'll not get into MBA, right? So stop depending on too much gyan. And the best thing is, I always tell students, go to the websites and search yourself. The next thing is searching for the best teachers. To be honest with you, there's nothing called as best teachers. Teachers are teachers, right? And the only thing which I always tell student is, where you see that you can understand the concept properly, someone who can make you understand the concept properly, whether he or she is from IIM or a branded institute or an unbranded institute, doesn't matter. It is just that your concept clarity is there, because that is what will make you to crack these competitive examination. Collecting more reference book videos, a lot of free material, I can understand. We go to YouTube and if you go, you just say, let's say, reading comprehension, right? Because being a verbal trainer myself, I'm just giving you that example. So within reading comprehension, you will see within one institute 7 different teachers who is teaching you reading comprehension. Now within that 7 teachers, you suddenly go from reading comprehension to vocabulary, switching on to grammar, and suddenly you realize that what you have done is you have wasted those 2-3 hours getting into those YouTube videos and all. So don't collect more reference book videos, just stick to 1 or 2 sources. I think that will be more than sufficient. And the last and very important thing is preparing without any goals, no milestones. So you have to prepare for goals. And one thing which is very, very important, that goal has to be aligned with the profile or the college, or let's say the 10th 12th score whatsoever. It has to be aligned with that. Why I'm saying this? Because the moment when we talk about, let's say, the top IIMs, by the way, if again it is a myth, when we talk about profile, I'll try to clear that myth at the end as well, that if we don't have a work experience, IIM Ahmedabad will not take us. If let's say we don't have such and such percentile, IIM Ahmedabad will not take us. There is something called as profile, and believe me, that profile also is for the top 9-10 colleges only. Apart from that, the only thing which will matter is your cat percentile. And if let's say any particular college, which is something which is not getting fit, that fit is not aligned with whatever 10th 12th graduation score is there with you, so stop hunting, stop waiting, or let's say stop being concerned about whether I'll be able to get those colleges or not. It's better we should start focusing on other colleges. Now before I get into this, why MBA at the first place? Why someone want to get into, let's say, MBA after pursuing BTech, or let's say BSc or BSCIT and all those things, right? Even MBBS doctors or CA these days are going for, let's say, management as a degree. First thing which is very clear, because the biggest brands, what you can see on the slide at this point of time, is they don't recruit from, generally they don't recruit you from, let's say, the graduate colleges, right? When I'm talking about, let's say, JP Morgan Chase, Barclays, or let's say Bank of America, I'm talking about for their management positions, right? PepsiCo for that matter, BCG. So all these consultancy, all this e-commerce, yes, all these companies, all these brands, they come into the in management colleges only, right? That's the first thing why people go for management. The second thing is, obviously the packages, right? Because that's what we are getting into, because after BSc or after, let's say, BTech, or after any other graduation, we know that these are the kind of packages we can't expect, something which you can see on the slide. Now the second thing is, why these packages? What is that special there, that these companies, they get into these colleges and offer such kind of a packages, right? What exactly make us so important? Now if you see here, the slide here, when you see these personalities, right? We are talking about ex-CEO of PepsiCo, Indra Nooyi, or we are talking about Ajay Banga, again ex-CEO Mastercard. We are talking about Raghav Bhel, Vinita Bali. We are talking about, let's say, Vinita from Sugar Cosmetics. We are talking about, let's say, Bharat Pay, Grover. So idea is they are all from the top colleges. Now just see an example. Let's talk about, let's say, Vinita Singh, because I'm sure these days everyone is on Shark Tank, and let's say closely observing how Sugar Cosmetics is doing and all. If Vinita Singh, she's an IIT pass out, after IIT, right? After IIT, if let's say she want to start her own brand, somewhat like Sugar Cosmetics, she needs certain skills. She needs that HR, OB, knowledge of finance, knowledge of economics. That is something which is missing in BTech. So the question is, why after graduation, or any graduation for that matter, students go for management? The idea is very simple, because the skills, whether you call it life skills, soft skills, or something which is needed in industry, that is something at graduate colleges. There are very few colleges who are providing that, because when we are talking about graduation, so for example, if someone who pursue, let's say, MTech after BTech, so MTech will only hone his or her technical skills. MSc after BSc, So MSc will only hold the skills related to hone the skills related to science, but they will not give the knowledge of the industry, when to start a business, how to start a business, startup for that matter. And if you see majority of the sharks which are coming, right, and why I'm giving example of sharks again and again, because I think that is where you can relate to. All of them, they have gone ahead, done their masters, and after that, the whatever startups they have formed, this is where successful startups come into picture. So that's where I think management plays a very important role. And the second thing is, before, because we are talking about a startup culture these days, so the first and very important thing which is required for a startup is capital. And when we talk about capital, these colleges, these old reputed prominent colleges, wherein they have good number of alumni who have passed out from these colleges, these alumni for so many years, they are in well-to-do organization, they are earning good. They become what? They become the angel investors for all the startups or all the budding startups in their college itself. So that is where a good college is very important, guys. Before I go to cat preparation and all, the only thing which I want to focus upon is, don't run behind degree, go for a good college, right? Because degree won't give you skill, a college will, right? So make sure a college is something which is very very important. Why I'm saying is, just take this example, because few days I think 2 days back, I was taking this session on cat only, and one student said that I want to get into MBA in IT, I want to get into MBA in sports management. MBA is MBA, management is management, right? I am Ahmedabad. Why I'm giving an example of I am Ahmedabad is because usse upar kuch hai nahi, right? So when we talk about I am Ahmedabad, so I am Ahmedabad don't give you a degree on MBA in marketing, or let's say MBA in finance. MBA is MBA. That's Master in Business Administration. So as a management, as a business, or as an entrepreneur, you should know economics, you should know finance, you should know HR, you should know OB and everything. So the idea is, go for a good college, go for a good MBA degree, rather than getting into the data analytics and all those things. The one, and again, the next thing which is very important is, it gives you a diverse things to look at, right? If you see here people from a diverse background coming out from management, and they can pursue whatever they want to, because that is what a management as a degree which help you out. So that these are the reasons why people should go into MBA. And when we talk about life in IIMs, it's not that it's only about studies and only studies. It's basically overall improvement as far as your life is concerned, right? So why to start early, right? Then there are students who always say that, why to start early? We have 4 months, 6 months, 10 months, right? So I'll just give you example here, right? And this is something which you need to decide, right? Rather than depending upon a gyan from people like us who are into this particular domain, it is something which you need to decide whether and when I have to start, right? I'll just give you an example here. So for example, generally a student who is preparing for, let's say, cat 2025, for students who are in 2024 and listening to this particular session, you can relate this, you also can relate with these 5 6 slides for 2025. Definitely this is something you should look out, and accordingly take your decision. So when we say it's 1 year, because generally what we advise is that you should start your preparation, let's say, from third semester if it's a 3 year graduation degree, and from fifth semester if it is a 5 year graduation, 4 year graduation. So when we say that's why 300 days or why 1 year, let's do some calculation. So the first thing is, obviously, if we talk about 1 year, so in between you have 2 semester examination, right? In those 2 semesters, you will have your midsems, unit test, term end, projects, assignments, viva, submission. So put together those two semester examination, you get occupied for roughly 45 odd days, right? 45 odd days is where you are occupied with viva, submission, preparing, because what we have seen, unfortunately, is we generally prepare before exam only, before 10 days, 15 days before exams. So 45 days is where you spend there as well. Vacations, minimum 10 days in a year. In a year, I'm talking about at least 10 days. So 45 plus 10, we are talking about 55 days. Okay? Then you have social gatherings, marriage, community gathering, ceremony, again 30 days in a year, which means one every month. That is something which is definitely there, right? So we are talking about 55 plus 30, we are talking about 85 odd days here. Okay? Now after that, we have important birthdays, right? Mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, XYZ, whatsoever, right? So 85 plus 15 is 100 odd days. You have, at least I'm talking about every 2 months, at least one birthday is there for sure. Then you have college days, fest, events, right? 15 odd days there, 115 days over, right? So roughly out of 300 days, one third of the time is over. I have not calculated here unfortunately, if let's say if we fell sick, right, for let's say 10-15 days हमारा वहां चला जाता है, right? If let's say we have some extended holidays for that matter, I have not included all those things. So roughly one third of the time is over, right? And then you have college attendance XYZ. So typically what I say, if you start your preparation 1 year in advance, you typically get 150 odd days to prepare for, right? And now let's see the syllabus and examination. Now, when I'm talking about syllabus and examination, it is equally valid for a student who is from a mathematics background or a non-mathematics background also, right? Because if you are targeting some of the good colleges, you need to give equal time for all the three sections. Yes, I can understand, because if I talk about quants or logical reasoning, data interpretation, there the syllabus is are not LRDI, I would say quant specifically. The syllabus, if I talk about quants, is very high as compared to logical reasoning and verbal ability and reading comprehension. But again, for LRD and verbal ability, there it's a process you need to keep practicing. And within quants, basically to complete the concept also, it takes a good amount of time, right? So if we talk about syllabus, now these are the three major components. If I talk about only CAT as an examination, I'm not taking ZAT or SIMBI or Narsimunji at this point of time. So these three are the common sections for all the examination. So if I talk about, let's say, quants, right? So now that is where the first thing we are talking about is completing the syllabus. And when I'm talking about completing the syllabus, I generally tell students it's a waste of time if you are only attending the classes and just clearing the concept, because you need to practice also. The first phase when we teach student is, the first phase is the basic, wherein we are teaching only the concept. The second phase is wherein the practice starts. The third phase is wherein we talk about the past year question paper or the practice or the advanced workshops as such. So the preparation is in three phases, and then the fourth phase starts, wherein you are extensively getting yourself involved in mocks. So these are the four phases for all the three sections put together. So until and unless, so after attending the classes, you are not practicing yourself, you are not coming with the doubts and getting it sorted from the faculty, you are not getting yourself mentored, right? If you are not completing this particular cycle, I don't think that the cycle is complete and you are preparing well for your CAT examination. So this is something which is needed for all the three sections, and it will take time, because generally, I'll give you a small example here. So any reputed coaching, online, offline, whatsoever, whatever you are planning to do, so there, if you see the quant syllabus, as I mean the syllabus, first of all, the books, the topic test, the section test, the mock test put together. So I'll give you my example here. So let's say if we are giving in CAT, I'm not talking about non-CAT examination. If we are giving 40 mocks, so 40 mocks will take you 80 hours, and plus the analysis of those mocks, which will take additional 2 hours per mock, plus 80. So 160 hours is something which you only need for mock solving. 160 hours. And you just now accordingly take in consideration how much time it will take to complete the syllabus and all. So if you start now for 2025, you need at least daily, on a daily basis, 2 to 3 hours is something which you need to practice, apart from reading, which is needed for VRC. For CAT 2024, I think you should start. I mean, I'm not saying you should start, I'm sure you must have started, and you just go, like, I mean, stop thinking, or stop being concerned about what percentile I will get and all. The only thing is that you just go and prepare. That's it. How you should prepare? So as I said, the first thing is syllabus, obviously by attending classes. That's point number one. Practice by solving study materials, sheet and app content, whatever is there. I mean, whatever institutes you have joined, whatever content material you are getting, that is something you need to practice. The third is doubt solving, because I've seen students, the third point which is missing, they keep on accumulating the doubts, and at last is I'm not being much clear with concepts. So make sure you are continuously getting your doubts cleared. Applying those concepts in mocks, obviously give mocks rigorously and religiously, because I've seen students giving the mock. I mean, they don't give mocks, they refrain from giving mocks, and the only reason which they give is my syllabus is still pending. Believe me, guys, the CAT, when we're talking about it's in November, syllabus, if you're concerned about completing the syllabus won't get completed till the time you're going for your D-Day, right? So make sure, if whatever institutes you have joined, online, offline, the day when they have mentioned that the mocks we are starting, because they are experts in this particular field, they are veterans in this field, they are doing it from past so many years. They also know that you have joined late and your course is not completed, but it's for some reason that they have started the mock. So please make sure right from mock 1 till your mock 30 35, give all the mocks religiously and rigorously. That's point which is something which needs to be considered. Preparing for group discussion, PI and VET. So IIMs don't get into GD, other colleges they do. But when we talk about PI and written ability process, newspaper reading is something which is very must, because I've seen students, we generally get a good result, 99, 98, 95, 90 percentile, but when it comes to PI, we are not much thorough with reading. So the regular newspaper reading is something which is very much required. VRC section, we generally keep step brotherly treatment to VRC section. The only request is just read, right? I can understand that syllabus in quants is much. In LRDI, we need a lot of practice. VARC, the only thing is that just read, 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 and read. The way it is something which should be your daily habit, right? And news, as I said, for cracking interviews, that is something which you should prepare for, right? Let's have a look at other entrance examination apart from CAT. So now, first of all, I am not getting much into detail because that is something you can easily find it on Google as well. Now, for only thing which I want to make sure to mention here is, the only thing which you need to do is you have to make sure you have to crack the desired percentile, whatever colleges, whichever colleges you have targeted, right? Irrespective of, when we talk about profile. By the way, I just want to mention here, profile, as per colleges criteria, the profile is not the kind of certification you will collect and you go ahead and do all those online courses and all. When I talk about the top colleges, IIMs, according to them, profile is 10th score, 12th score, graduation score, academic diversity, and gender diversity. To be honest with you, you can't do anything. You can't do anything if you are targeting those colleges, because if you are low on your 10th and 12th score, you won't be going ahead and repeating those classes 10th and 12th. You can't do anything on gender diversity, right? If there is extra percentile for female candidates, you can't do on academic diversity. Let's say IIMs are saying that we will give extra percentile to a candidate who is from an MBBS background or a law background. The only thing which you can do is your CAT percentile. And believe me, apart from the top colleges, no other colleges will see your CAT percentile. When I'm saying top colleges, I'm only considering the top 10 12 ones. That's it. And after that also, there are decent colleges which will give you an average package of close to around 20-22 lakhs, irrespective of your 10th and 12th score. So there are colleges available. So stop saying that my 10th and 12th are the reason I'm not getting into the top colleges and all those things. The things which are in your control, you can only work on that. And at this point of time, that is your CAT percentile. So profile is this. There are students who come to me saying that, sir, how to build my profile, what kind of certification I should do, what kind of online courses I should do. And when I ask their CAT mocks course, right, they are getting 70 percentile or 75 percentile. And my only piece of advice to them is, first of all, focus on your percentile, because if you won't be able to get the percentile, those particular profile won't be considered. So focus on your CAT percentile. Work experience is something which should be after your graduation, right? Because these colleges, they don't consider your work experience after your 12th or with your graduation. So only work experience after your graduation is something which is considered. So that is something which you should keep in mind as well, right? And plus, when I'm talking about work experience, if you have work experience, yes, there is an advantage. But if you don't have a work experience, that doesn't mean that you have a disadvantage over there. Because if you see the current batch of IIM Ahmedabad as well, I would say approx 35% of the students from the current batch, they are freshers, right? So it doesn't mean that if you don't have a work experience, you can't get into the top colleges, right? So this is something which you need to understand. If I talk about percentile here, right, I'll just move ahead and then I'll talk about percentile as well. I'm sure these kind of the fees, the average salary, the average cutoff, you might be aware about all these things, because there are a lot of institutes, online websites, online videos which are available related to that. These are the percentile, and this is for your reference. You can watch this video or you can just have a screenshot of that as well. Now, if you see here, If you have, let's say, non-IM category, you have a percentile of, let's say, 90 to 95. In 90 to 95 category also, you have good average salary. If you see, this is an average salary. Now if I talk about Delhi Management School, IIT Delhi, if I talk about IMT Ghaziabad, if I talk about IMI Delhi, if I talk about IFT Delhi, they don't they don't cares much about your profile. The only thing which they care about is your cat percentile. So accordingly you can focus on that. These are other colleges in that 80 to 90 percentile, because that's what I was trying to tell you at that point of time. If, let's say, my 10th and 12th score are not sufficient, after BCom I'm not getting some decent packages. So let's say if that point of time I get into, let's say, Irma Anand as a college which is into rural management, and if I'm getting it, let's say, a salary or average package of close to around 16 lakh rupees per annum, I think that's a decent thing to get into, right, to start off with. Okay, so this is something which you need to consider for sure. And if I talk about IIMs, they do have this. If you see the average cutoff for the last 3 years with respect to the percentile, they do take admission in 90 to 95 percentile category as well, right? If I talk about the IIMs, right? So now before getting into this, the one more thing which I want to cover here is, let's talk about percentile. Verbal ability and reading comprehension, I'll just give you a rough idea here. So out of 24 odd questions, I'm talking about, per question carries 3 marks. So 72 marks I'm talking about. Roughly a score of close to around 45 to 48 odd marks will give you 99 percentile plus 99.5 percentile. I repeat, 45 to 48 odd marks out of 72. And that's where you hit your 45 or your 99.5 percentile. If I talk about LRDI, again, out of 60 odd marks, somewhere around 30 32 odd marks, you will hit your 99 percentile bracket. And if I talk about quants, again, if I talk about quants, I would say somewhere around 40 to 42 odd marks, you will hit your 99 percentile bracket. So out of, let's say, 198 marks, roughly 60% of the marks is needed to hit that 99 percentile marks. And if, let's say, I talk about someone who has, let's say, 85 percentile, so in these three sections, I would say out of 66 odd questions, somewhere around 20 odd questions, if you see, let correct, let's say 60 odd marks, you hit somewhere around 85 odd percentile. So this is what percentiles are all about, right? And after that, you have other exams as well, ZAT for that matter. So I'll not get much into this, but yes, your verbal ability, quantitative aptitude, and logical reasoning is a part of your ZAT examination as well. But yes, they do have a general knowledge session as well, and I think this year they have removed that essay writing, but general knowledge session is here for sure. Okay, and then you have these are the percentile. And one last thing to all the students who are preparing for CAT 2024 at this point of time, make sure you go ahead and apply, or let's say fill all the forms, right? Because I've seen student, I have only filled CAT form, I'm not filling up ZAT form. Keep your options open. You should go ahead, and if the prominent ones I'm talking about, CAT obviously, followed up by NMAT for Nasi Munji, and then if I talk about ZAT as a form, then Symbiosis for that matter. These colleges definitely, or these forms you should apply for. Keep your options open for sure, because after that, when you are, if you don't get your desired percentile, or let's say even if you get the desired percentile, and if you're not able to crack the interviews, and at that point of time, you should not, feel that I should have gone ahead and filled those forms. That feeling should not sunk in at that point of time, right? And these are all the examinations. So we are talking about Symbiosis. If you see Symbiosis fees percentile also, and if I talk about Symbiosis, SIBM, or let's say SCMHRD, these are some of the top colleges you can definitely consider for Symbiosis as well. And then you have Narsimunji again. NMIMS Mumbai is something they give you 3 attempts, and but if I talk about Narsimunji colleges, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Indore, Navi Mumbai, they only consider the first attempt, whatever you want to give out of 3. So that's NMET for you. And again, these are the clusters. If you see, मैं आपको जो profile की बात कर रहा था, the profile thing which I was mentioning with you guys. So if you see the test score, so for example, I'll just give you an example of I am Indore. If you can see in this particular slide, I am Indore example. So if class 10th and 12th score, you have not scored pretty well there. And if you are targeting, let's say I want to do best in CAT, I'm now serious and I want to get into IIM Indore, those chances are very less, right? So stop, targeting, or stop targeting the colleges which is not aligned with the profile what you have, right? Instead of that, you can definitely go ahead and apply for, let's say, JBIMS to Maharashtra City. You can go ahead for TIS as well. You can go for NITI Mumbai if you're an engineer as well. You can go ahead for MDI as well. So these are the things which you should look at. I've seen students, I'm not filling XLRI form. Why? Because XLRI is typically for HR. So to be honest with you, XLRI BM, a General Business Management Program, the package is at par with IIM Ahmedabad. So please go ahead, and if you see a General Business Management Program for Z, they don't, they don't give much weightage to the profile as if I talk about other IIMs. If I talk about other colleges who are giving average salary of 9 to 10 LPA, and if you're not having a decent score, so these are the colleges you can look out for, right? So we have divided the colleges into 9, 10 clusters. And this is where you can see the percentile. So overall, if I talk about a 99.5 percentile, we are talking about a score of close to around 93 odd marks with, 31 questions net correct, right? So if you have, this is the kind of profile which matters. And I was talking about verbal. So verbal, you have 14 questions. As I was talking about 43 odd percentile, you will hit 99.5 percentile. So you get decent colleges. So as and when your percentiles are going down, the ROI will go down, which means the fees of the colleges and the packages which you will get there, that's where ROI will, return on investment, will go down. So anything above 90 is a decent thing to start with. And if I talk about 90, if you see here, so we are talking about 17 odd questions out of 66 to hit the 99 percentile. This is something which you can look at. Okay, so this is a example. And then when we talk about the preparation, you should know. So I generally say you should know about your enemy. If you are going for a war, you should know the plus and minus, the negative and the positive about your enemy. This is where you do a smart preparation, and that's where mentors will help you out with, right? Because there's everything which is available online, right? So you really don't want to get into the institutes or a coaching institute to prepare for this thing, but this is where student comes to us or mentors talking about that. This is where student need a smart preparation, right? So if I talk about CAT over the years, so the topics, if you say, if a student who is not really good with mathematics, right? So if a student get into, let's say, arithmetic and algebra properly, your 80% of the syllabus is covered from that. If you are starting your preparation without any mentor, and if you start with, let's say, modern mathematics or a number theory, right? So going for those 2 questions or 5 questions will not really help. Okay, so this is where arithmetic, within arithmetic also, which kind of chapters, if I'm really not doing good with quants, what kind of chapters I can go ahead and get those particular cutoff percentile, right? Algebra, what kind of questions I should do. In verbal ability, reading comprehension, generally the first thing which we generally tell students is start reading, but from where to read? Because if you see VRC throughout the years, if I talk about the analysis of last 4 or 5 years, if you see the screen which is there, not even a single passage has been asked from the Indian sources. So if, let's say, I'm reading Times of India or Indian Express, it won't really matter. Eventually, yes, I can start with these newspaper, but I have to go on and I have to start reading, the Cambridge ORG or the Jester ORG or the Aeon SS or the Smithsonian Magazine or the Guardian. So this is something which I need to read. So this is the analysis. So do a smart preparation. That's what I say. For the students who are in 2024, please do a smart preparation, and I hope this session will be helpful for you. And for 2025, and I hope it is clear to you that yes, why to start early. If you see the types of questions in VRC throughout the years, right? Why I'm getting much into detail in VRC, because that's what that's the session which I take. So I'm just giving you a glimpse. And similarly, it can be done for quants, for logical reasoning DI as well, right? So students generally are concerned with, let's say, tone-based questions. They're not doing good with tones. So the first answer which I'll give is, for CAT, please, let's not solve tone questions directly. Yes, I should know, but for Nasi Munji, for symbiosis, I should know that as well, right? Then this again is a prep strategy. Typically, what we say, why 1 year? The first 3 months is for concept building, the next 3 months is for applying those concepts, and the next 4 months is basically a test taking strategy. So this is something which a student should do, right? So yes, Shrisha, if you are here, I'm done with the my this thing. What exactly CAT, why CAT, and what kind of percentile student should look at. Over to you, Shrisha.
Sure. Thank you, Prashant sir. I think a lot of information, and also you try to cover it. I think in a very short span of time. I'm sure there is more to it, there are appreciations from the audience saying it's a very good session. Thanks for the detailed breakdown, and also there are some good. I would say good comments for us. So I do see some questions in the chat box, and if you can help out, students a little bit with these questions, I think that would be great.
Yeah, please.
So there are two, three people who are asking mainly about how to, overcome the fear of underperforming in CAT, or how to deal with the pressure of this entrance exam.
Okay, so when we talk about fear of this entrance examination is what I generally tell student is give as many mocks as possible, because if you are giving mocks, there will be times where you're not getting a good percentile, so all those anxiety, all those fear of underperforming, so you are now ready with those kind of challenges in your on your actual D-Day as well. And then there'll be times when you're doing really well, it will give you a confidence, it will boost your morale as well, that whatever preparation I am doing, it is something which is going in the right direction. So give as many mocks as possible, that is one. And the second thing is, it's not about you, it's about all 3 lakh students who are appearing for that particular examination on D day, right? Everyone has similar fears, everyone has similar kind of anxiety, everyone is struggling with some section here or there. It's basically the perseverance, it's basically the persistence, it's basically you are going out and playing on that D day, because I know students who are not getting a good percentile even in the last mock which he or she has appeared for, let's say 1 day prior to D-Day, and then on D-Day going for CAT examination, coming out with flying colors with 99 percentile. So it is basically give as much mocks as possible and back yourself up. That's the only thing which I will suggest.
Thank you. Another question is, are there any changes in the exam pattern
So,
this year?
to be honest with you, we are not expecting any changes in the pattern this year. And if we talk about changes also, I think it's the question is coming from Meghna. So, if I talk about changes also, if you see from 2020 to 2023, there are not any changes for that matter, irrespective of one kind of questions they have changed in verbal ability. So, we are not expecting any major changes with respect to the timings. We are not expecting major changes because I think it is very much open now that the CAT will be there in the 3 slots. If it is there in the 3 slots, so it will be a 2 hour exam for sure. If it is a 2 hour examination, so 24 to 26 odd questions will be there with the, I mean, 66 to 68 odd questions will be there in the similar uh, fashion which they are asking in 2023 or 22. So I don't think there'll be major changes in examination pattern this year.
Great. And Meghna has another question asking about some last. Can you suggest some tips for the last minute revision?
Some tips for last minute revision if you are 2024 student. First of all, if I talk about verbal, so in verbal, my suggestion is just keep reading, right? You might have solved sufficient number of RCs. That's what I'm expecting that you have done with your course and all. So please, please, please continue reading and read stuff or read the sources from which CAT has specifically asked their questions from. And diverse genre is something which you should target. If I talk about quantitative aptitude, my suggestion is once you are done with your mock, do a thorough analysis because you still have 60 days left. Do a thorough analysis and work on your weakness for the next 30 days. Next 30 days is something where whatever weakness you have, just try to overcome that, because after 30 days, right, when I'm talking about, let's say similarly, I mean approximately after 15th October or so, make sure you just stop there, work on your strength areas and just try to maximize your score there. So whatever 15-20 days you have, whatever you want to do in your quants, do that. LRDI, keep practicing. When I'm saying keep practicing LRDI, you should get into that level wherein you should know not to where you should know which kind of sets to leave. It's not about which sets you are targeting, which sets you should leave. That that is something that expertise should come in the first 5 minutes, because if you can do that in first 5 minutes, that these are the 2 sets which I'm going to leave, I'm telling you 99 percentile is something which you can target. But that is something which now you should start approaching in every mock. The first thing which you should do is not about which set I will attempt, but which set I will leave. That is, I think, is a strategy which you should start focusing for logical reasoning and data interpretation.
Okay. There's a question from Charita asking, are there any top online coaching institutes for CAT preparation? I think e-coaching is definitely, an institute that is offering
Right.
online coaching. So I would definitely recommend them. So please look through their website, and they have a lot of information that you need as a student. So I would definitely encourage you to look at e-coaching website and enroll for their CAT preparation. Anything else you want to add, Prashant sir? Please feel free.
No, thank you, thank you. I think that is something which you need to which you need to answer, because obviously
Yeah.
I'll answer e-coaching only, so you can definitely answer that. Thank you for
Yeah,
that, ma'am.
sure. So this one from another user asking, what are the best strategies to improve speed and accuracy on quantitative aptitude?
So to be honest with you, CAT as an examination is never about speed, right? It's about strategy. Because if you see the percentile which I've just shared with you guys, so if I talk about out of 20 22 odd questions, we are talking about, if let's say I talk about IIM Ahmedabad getting a overall percentile, and you have to clear the section cutoff to get the 80 percentile, all you need is 10 questions net correct. So CAT is never about speed. So stop saying that about speed. So CAT is all about finding your L1s, L2s, and L3. What are L1, L2, and L3 is L3. So first thing which you need to do is while giving mock is, if I talk about quants, L3 are the questions which I'll definitely not attempt, because these are the questions I was not able to crack when I was giving mock, or while I was practicing. That day there is nothing extraordinary which will come up that you will clear, or you will solve those questions. That won't be possible at that point of time. So first of all, mark your L3s, leave those questions. Mark your L2s, you may come on these L2 if you have time. Focus on L1s and start getting accuracy on that L1s. L1s should not for L1s you should target 100% accuracy, and I think that's where you will crack the examination. So no speed.
Great. Thank you, sir. There's one from Mr. Harshvardhan asking, starting preparation now, how to complete. I'm not sure, Mr. Harshvardhan, if that question was for 2024 or 2025. So I think it's a bit
So I think it's
subjective,
for
but let
24,
sir
because
answer.
yeah, so I think it's for 24 starting preparation now, how to complete. So Harshvardhan, if you're starting preparation now, uh, it should be a smart preparation. I'm not sure if you'll be able to complete that preparation at this point of time. You have not started. It's difficult, to be honest with you. But yes, it also depends on the colleges you are targeting. If you are targeting colleges in, let's say, 90-95 percentile bracket, if you are from a mathematics background, if you're decent enough with reading skills, I'm sure that can be done. But if you are starting from scratch, if I'm not a good reader, avid reader, if I'm struggling with comprehension, I think that will be a challenge, but it will depend on what kind of background you have, and accordingly, someone can mentor you.
Sure. So I think Sir has answered most of your questions, and like he has, brought it up during the session that a good number of 300 days before is when you should start, prepare with your preparation, and I think that is what Sir has suggested. And uh, being in this industry for so many years, I'm sure he's seeing various students, and that advice is coming out of his expertise. So we would also, encourage you to start early and start preparing well in advance so that you have enough time to understand the strategies and basically crack this cat examination and get into the top institutes. Just I think now we're almost done with this questions. I just want to take a 2 minutes about MentorMe. So we are a career guidance and training organization supporting students starting from sixth grade onwards to their working professional journey. So please reach out to us, look at our website, and if you have any questions on this session, you can contact us either through WhatsApp or email. Sir, can you please move on to the next page?
Yeah, sure.
One more page, please. Yeah, so you can reach out to this contact information that's on your screen, and feel free to ask your questions and stay connected with us. Once again, I really want to thank Prashant sir for taking out this time to share his expertise and the great strategies and tips that are helpful for students. And
You're welcome.
really appreciate your time, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Yeah, anything you want to say, add, Prashant sir?
Nothing. Thank you. Just all the best, and no matter what, I mean, whatever stage you are in, just start preparing. That's the only thing which I want to say. All the best, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, all the best to the CAT aspirants and also the aspirants who are preparing for various other entrance exams. Do well and keep focused. Thank you so much. Signing off for the day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks.